Hi there, good morning and welcome to News Flash. It's still prime morning here. You've seen me with my hands on this very delicious meal I've got here with me. It is the Royal King Cracker, Royal King Cracker. Are you guys seeing it? I hope you're seeing it here. It's the beautiful Royal King Cracker, and that's what we do every morning. Every morning, you don't have a bit of this, then going to be questions about your morning, how your morning is going to go. You want a really great morning, you need this as part of your breakfast, all right? Just get it under your drawer every now and then, just take a little bite, and then you'll be energized. Very reliable in the morning, highly reliable in the afternoon, and of course, recommended for the evenings when you're having a bit of a hunger. It's Royal King Cracker. You can access it. This is what keeps her throughout the week. The entire weekend she was in church, and this was what she was keeping her, I think. So highly recommended. Keep it in the bag of your ward. Yet to go to school, make sure that you keep it right in the bag of your ward. And these days, when you go to all the KG and primaries, everybody's holding this. Everybody's holding the Royal King Cracker. So big thank you to Royal King Cracker for their support. Also to Franco Trading Enterprise phone, Papa Fie. My producer has got a new flashy phone, and it's kind of courtesy Franco Trading Enterprise, the latest iPhone. She's a big girl now, and Franco Trading Enterprise, you can go there, find the latest devices. I need a laptop, so I've been in touch with them to get a new laptop, and we're going to work on it, all right? So go to Franco Trading Enterprise and get all you need to get. Let's get into the newspapers now, because so many things have unfolded in the course of the week, and the big conversation coming up has to do with on the Nakonedu Ajaman Rawlings. We're going to spend some time particularly her 31st December Women's Movement project. We want to explore it, appreciate exactly what they did for women and what the women of today, especially the young ladies of today, can learn from her as we look to build an inclusive society, a society where women also have a stake. All right, so we're going to spend some time on that conversation. But let's go to the newspapers. And while we are going to the newspapers, the biggest development from the weekend had to do with the Minister of Education's comment at the 75th anniversary of Maoli Secondary School. So big shout outs to all the former student and present student of Maoli. He says that he will not tolerate, and that was the message from Kweku Asante on fellow Ghanaians. He says he will not tolerate any long hair in our secondary schools. And questions have arisen. What is this whole point about long hair, short hairs? What's the correlation with discipline? All right. So it's been a raging debate on social media and most of our communities. If you want to add your voice to it, we're going to open the phone lines. I want to hear from you just before we get into the main discussion. What do you make of it? Beyond that, is there any concern at all you want to draw the attention of the authorities to, or something that is bothering you? We will want you to call into the show. We've got 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes for that segment. Call into the show. Let's hear from you, all right? So what is on your mind? That is the segment. What is on your mind? Let us hear from you. Let me start with the Ghanaian publisher now. It's got Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and said Bawumia sparks delegate excitement. Bawumia sparks delegate excitement. The Ghanaian publisher, page 3 is there. He concluded his Bono regional tour just a few days ago, and he's going to continue tour to other regions this week. Then you've got Defense Minister appointment, and Tim Fojo slams Mahama's indecision. And Tim Fojo is fundamentally telling President John Mahama to appoint a substantive defense minister. Remember that the finance minister is still the one acting as defense minister. So that has also come up. And Bawumia mourns with Obin Menu is also here. So those stories are there on the Ghanaian publisher. Now you go to the Today newspaper. Today newspaper. It has the picture of President John Mahama there. It says, good news for persons with disability. Good news for persons with disability. Now it says government moves to amend Disability Act to include healthcare, rehabilitation, and employment opportunities. So that's the massive initiative that government is rolling out for the persons with disability. We know that the plan to offer them free tertiary education was also launched, so that's really great for them. And they also got lawyer renews PPP score for Attorney General's Department to be separated from Justice Ministry for effective corruption. That story is also on the Today newspaper. Now, let me go to the, I'm sure, the Insight newspaper. Let me go to the Insight newspaper. The Insight newspaper says, jobs for all, our vision. That is the Vice President assuring diaspora of government initiatives. So the Vice President, Professor Jane, is out of the country. She's in the States, and she's been delivering quite a number of speeches here and there. That she was in Germany and then returned to the country and then flew to the US and making touching base with the Ghanaians in other parts of the world. So she's been making that call there. And Mahama unveils free tertiary education for persons with disabilities. I mentioned that also. Then from Baghdad to Caracas, a Washington manual on sanctions and war. Then Numo Kofi Enum family assures public of calm on its 918-acre Regimanual lands. The Ghana must fully embrace AI for rapid development, says Archbishop John Adontin Boateng. Then GIPC begins regional investment roadshows in Volta and OT regions. It's also on the front page of the Inside newspaper. Now, let me do the Daily Graphic now. The Daily Graphic. What is the Daily Graphic saying? Well, the Daily Graphic says that tension mounts at Pasa Senior High Technical School. Pasa Senior High Technical School, and that's in the OT region. Interesting. It's a parent-student protest, 435,000 Ghana cedis. Wait, is it 435 Ghana cedis unapproved fees? That is a lot of money. If that's a, wow. So that's the PTA. The PTA thing that some parents are being asked to pay in the various secondary schools. And at the Pasa Senior High Technical School, we understand there is some tension mounting there. You know, the headmaster of the school, Roxanne Kwame Tewia, is alleged to have imposed, without the consent of the PTA or approval from the Board of Governors, a fine of 150 Ghana cedis on each of the over 2,900 students for what he claims was to compensate for the loss of some items in the school. Interesting. And he said the Daily Graphic gathered that the students were being made to pay 435,000 cumulatively for the loss of 27 ceiling fans, some lamp holders and bulbs that have been reportedly removed. So they say some items are missing in the school, and cumulatively the cost of all the items that have been missing in the school is 435,000 Ghana cedis. And every student in the school has been asked to pay 150 Ghana cedis. And we understand that this very levy that has been imposed was not approved by the board and was not in consultation with the PTA. And this has generated some debates in the school. And the headmaster is Roxanne Kwame Tewia. Of course, the GS is going to pick this up. The Minister of Education is going to pick this up. And the headmaster is definitely going to be in trouble for this. So we'll see how this one unfolds. Then you also have use local language for instruction at basic schools. That's according to the Minister of Education. Minister of Education. Interesting. Poverty among Ghanaian pensioners high. Hey, poverty among Ghanaian pensioners is high. Interesting. So Ghana, there you go on pension. The money you receive is not up to, you understand, it's around 400 to 500 Ghana cedis per month. And how much, what can that do? What can that do? What can that do? So quite unfortunate, quite unfortunate, quite unfortunate. And champion of the girl child. There's a very extensive, what do you call it, feature on Nana Kunedu Ajimon Rawlings' legacy, how she championed the girl child. That story is on page 11. And you can explore it there also. You can read it and get to know more about it. And just finally, let me do the business, the graphic business. It's a Ghana faces high economic risk. Latest report cites lack of access to capital market, debt sustainability, among others. Hey, I mean, what is all this? Today you hear the economy is doing well, another year you hear economy is at risk. What is happening? What is all? Hey, you don't even let us breathe. Huh? And Bank of Ghana urged banks to tighten controls and curb rising frauds. Then Telecom Chamber pushes for digital money trust is also here. And you also have a feature story here, how World Cup euphoria is driving business diaspora connection. All of it is on the graphic business. So quite interesting stories we've got here on the various newspapers, and particularly a few ones I saw here, even one of them has to do with the Minister of Education call on schools to start using local language for instructions. But you see, the problem with that one is that it's great too, but the problem with that one is that in a classroom, you have students who speak different languages. There are those who speak Hausa in the classroom. There are those who speak Chi in the classroom. There are those who speak Ga in the classroom. So if the teacher is to use a local language, which of them should she use? When you have students speaking different languages, that's the difficulty. But there are certain communities, maybe some parts of the Volta region, where almost all the students there speak Ewe. It becomes easy to communicate with them. From some parts of the Ashanti region, where almost all the students there speak Chi, so it becomes easy to communicate to them. But in urban centers like Accra, where you have students who speak different dialects, it will be quite challenging. So let's see. But let's revisit the minister's statement at Maoli Secondary School, where he said they will not tolerate long hair. They will not tolerate long hair. Let's listen to the minister. I want to hear from you what you make of this and what else is your concern.
There is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today, we will not tolerate it tomorrow, and so long as we are molding character. If we give in to hair today, tomorrow it will be shoes, and the next day it will be the way they dress. Therefore, as part of our disciplinary measures, headmasters and GES, you are accordingly empowered to take full control of how students behave on your campuses. So anybody who thinks that your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child, forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest, the school environment is not for that purpose and not cut for that purpose, and would not tolerate that as an institution.
So that's the Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu. Very interesting comment there. Very, very interesting comment there. He says, well, the secondary schools are not places, we shouldn't think that your ward is coming to model or beauty contest. Well, interesting, right? Interesting. Now, in fact, I came across an article on Facebook. In fact, Ras Mubarak, the former member of parliament for constituency, just skipping, but he's a former member of parliament. He wrote a long thesis on Facebook critiquing these comments by the education minister, asking fundamentally what's the correlation between keeping a long hair or keeping a short hair and discipline and good morals. What is the correlation? We've done it over the years. In fact, we've practiced this since even before Ghana gained independence. We've always kept our hair short in our secondary school since Ghana gained independence. And for all these years that we've done it, what has been the correlation between this practice and good morals and discipline? Because look at our society today. Corruption persists. Our society is, if you want to be very honest, corrupt. Yet, at least 70 to 80% of the members of the society went to the secondary school. They kept their hair short. But still, people are corrupt. They're corrupt in public institutions. They are corrupt. It's pervasive almost everywhere. So what is the correlation? What research informs this policy that keeping short hair breeds discipline or promotes good moral character? In fact, interestingly, there was one person who also wrote, Hamza, I believe, who wrote on Facebook long piece, and he was quite telling that once upon a time in our secondary schools, students were not even allowed to bring provisions. Yeah, well, I mean provisions like Royal King Cracker and other things. They were not allowed to bring it. And the rationale behind that was so that students do not steal and students do not envy others. So in order to avoid that situation, everybody should come to school and only feed on the school dining. But that very, policy over time was unsustainable. So students were not allowed to bring provisions. And today, even once upon a time, students were not allowed to wear sandals. They said, well, some people might not have it, and some people might wear this, so everybody should not wear sandals. We've gone beyond that. All right? So this one, we're asking you, what's your take on this? Do you think maybe we should move beyond this? Should we move beyond this very policy? Is this archaic? All right? Is there any correlation between keeping short hair and discipline? What's the correlation? All right, so we want to hear from you. What do you make of it? And I understand we have a first caller this morning. Is this Solomon I heard? Hello, Solomon.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Where are you joining us from?
I'm calling from Insawon.
Great, Solomon. It's What's on Your Mind segment on Prime Morning. What's on your mind? Let me ask you.
I'm sorry to tell you that I am disappointed in what you journalists are doing this.
Okay, why is that so?
Yes. Children are, do you know yam?
Yam?
Yes.
Yeah, yam the food, the crop yam, right?
Yam the food.
Yeah, I know yam.
Do you know how it grows?
No, tell me.
Okay. The yam grows like with a rope.
Mm-hmm.
It just creates a rope and then climbs a tree. And then as it's climbing, somebody will have to help the yam go clockwise. If you make a mistake and you do it anti-clockwise, the whole yam will never go up to come down. Children are born to be trained. You see, we are fortunate this time. There are a lot of things that we suffered when we went to secondary school. Those things are no more. Children have a lot of freedom today. And as the children exit school and enter into public life, even in public life, there are certain things that are not allowed. As you sit on the radio, on the television station right now, I don't think the station will allow you to wear boxer shorts to the studio because you have rights, because you are adults. The station will not allow it. So the children are being, all these things are a way to tell the children that as you grow, there are rules that you have to follow. If a child is made to keep a short hair, would that kill the child?
But will it
let me tell you, there are a lot of lies in this long hair. Lies. You know lies?
Lies, you mean? Yes.
There are a lot of lies in this long hair. There's this, it's not scientific, but there's this research coming up that this rasta hairs that these children are keeping now is bringing back this insect into so many hairs now. So you allow the children to keep these long hairs. They develop this insect in their hair. They infect themselves. Is it right?
So fundamentally,
something that the minister should be bashed for.
So you support the minister's call, right?
Yes, I support the minister 100%.
All right, wonderful. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining in. We also want to hear from you. What's on your mind? As I mentioned, it could be about this hair issue or any other thing that is pressing to you, okay? We want to give you the opportunity to raise it. So let's hear from you right now. We've got a few more minutes to do this, and hopefully we can make it a regular part of the show. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? All right. So he makes a very important point about hygiene and etc. Look, and to be fair though, if your ward cannot keep their hair clean, all right. If, for instance, they're allowed to keep their hair and she's unable to keep the hair clean, respectfully, it is a question of hygiene. It just means your ward's hygiene is not good. All right. Somebody is calling us from Ablekuma, right? Hello, my brother.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Please, what's your name?
My name is S.K. Bolu.
Okay, I didn't get it.
Calling from Ablekuma Central.
Oh, please go ahead. Let me hear from you. What's on your mind?
Actually, what they did, halfway is right, the other way it's all right. They should have cut the hair of the girl with the consultation of the parents. They cannot do it without the consent of the parents. You see, if it were to be you, at least give a little respect to the girl. It is a personal property. If you want to cut it, let them know that this is what you want to do to your child. If they are consent, then they do it peacefully. But to that extent, I feel it's all right.
Well, what we don't know is whether the hair was trimmed by the school or the ward did it with the consent of the parent, because we understand the ward was not going to school. So we don't know whether this was, the ward arrived in school, then the school said, no, you have to go and trim your hair, and the school took it to the barbering shop and went to trim it. We're not too sure if that's what happened, all right? But what we strongly believe happened is that the parents took the ward to the barbering shop to trim it before they went to school. So that's what we understand. Anyway, so thank you very much for calling. We want to hear from you also. What's your thought? If you have a challenge in your area, why not? Call us right now. Call us right now. Let's talk about it. You want to draw the government's attention to it. This is what this segment is for, as for you to call in and tell us, did you have a bad experience at one of the state agencies recent time, or have you applied for something and it is delayed? Call and mention the agency, and we'll try and get the message across to you, all right? This is the fine opportunity for you to share your thought and tell us what you make of it. And I was making the point about this hair thing, all right? I mean, if we contrast these, Yao is calling us from Tema. Hello, Yao.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, Yao, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How's it?
Very good, very good, very good. Well, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? It's a question I want to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, is it, if must we get it, the institutions, the schools, have no right to promulgate regulations to regulate the life of the student? If the schools are giving the authority the right to promulgate regulations in order to regulate the conduct of the students, why is it that we are leading, or why are we not allowing the to either tell the students this we accept, or that we don't accept? And it is only the student's right that we keep pushing up, and pushing. The course must also be given the authority to regulate the life of the student. May only be the student whose right must be championed. No, that society we need to anarchy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yao. Thank you very much, Yao. Yao also makes the point that, well, we should not just be talking about the freedom that the students should enjoy, but also their institutions and their institutions, and the institution also have the power to determine how people behave within their space. That's a fair point. But then the fact that you have the power to determine how people behave in your space does not mean that you can adopt any regulation whatsoever, all right? You have to be checked on the kind of regulations you decide to implement, all right? Can you imagine there was a time that students were told not to wear sandals to school? Can you imagine there was such a time? Yet the institutions had the power to do that. So we raise this question so we can have a progressive society. Razak from Nima, did I hear Nima?
Yeah, Razak.
Yeah, and let me say, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my brother. What's on your mind?
What I studied market was because now it's certain part where who are selling doing all of this is indiscipline. The indiscipline is too much in our schools. Go to Kanda Highway and see what students are doing over there. It's too much. If you didn't put our foot on the ground, what's that? Tomorrow, we wake up with something.
we are now importing foreign staff into our. So we should go back. See, me and you, see where our hair is. Tomorrow is going to be NRSS. Somebody is going to cut his hair half because it's not right. It's not right. So I totally back the minister.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Really appreciate it. He supports the minister, believes that we need to enforce these things to instill discipline in our society. But the point is that it's existing. All right? It's existing. It's existed for the past more than 60 years. This whole idea of keeping your hair short, it exists. It's not like something that has been introduced. It exists. And the indiscipline we are talking about in our schools persisted. So if for anything at all, you get the indication that, well, the hair thing does not promote discipline, because if it promotes discipline, then why has indiscipline increased in our schools when that very policy already exists? Joseph, understand, is joining us. Hello, Joseph. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Declan.
Sorry, Joseph?
Good Declan.
Yeah, this is Joy Prime. Your line is not too clear. If you can just position yourself well, then we can hear you. What's on your mind?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So what is on your mind? Talk to me.
I think it's good for discipline to come to the school by bringing a law, rules and regulations in the schools for the students not to bring their hairs not like that. But starting it at the school at the rest they do, but it be a rule that people bring your work to school, they should cut their hair in school home or some shit. Or the ladies should have it in a way that will bring discipline to the school. But if it should be me bringing a child and seeing somebody cut their hair like that, I don't think I'm going to take it easy. But there should be rules and regulations in the schools. You don't bring the wall, you cut it or you trim it. Anyhow you do it should be accordingly to the school rules and regulations. I think that would be the best. But how they cut it the school, I don't think. If it is done by the school, then it's not the right thing.
All right, Joseph. All right, Joseph, thank you very much. And Joseph, you are still listening. Just know that the rule exists. The rule exists, all right? The rule exists. The rule is that before you enter the secondary school, you need to keep a low cut. It's there in the prospectus. When you're given the prospectus, it's part of the requirements of the freshers. So when you come to school, it's part of the rules that you work with. And it has existed for the past 60 years. So it's a rule that is in our books and it has always existed. It's not a new rule. It has always existed. But we are questioning the rule now as to whether indeed the rationale behind the rule is still valid, that it's intended to promote discipline. How is keeping a short hair and a long hair, what's the correlation with discipline? That is what we are interrogating. Somebody is calling us from Kwabenya. Guys, did you say Kwabenya? Eben.
Yes, please. I'm in Kwabenya.
Yeah, Eben, what's on your mind? Talk to me.
It's really sad in this country nowadays. And at times, I do ask myself, I will really ask my brother, we Africans, we have our values. And at times I don't get it. Some just few people have stayed in abroad, and at times they want to bring their culture here, which is not happening. Why? Are they saying we shouldn't discipline our children or what? Or is it because now social media is rampant? So each and everything we want to get debated. Please, we go to school to learn and make sure that we acquire knowledge of the nation. What is wrong in cutting what I said is we go to school to learn and not what display what beauty. Are they doing beauty pageants, my brother? Why not emulate things that will benefit the country? Then these so-called and maybe as the students are been charged and we have rules and regulations. And I believe that every school also has their own rules.
If you think you will not even, your time, hair will be cut and done. Take him or hair to a school that hair will not be cut. None of it, my brother. It's fair on our mind. Why? We are country of value, so let's ask ourselves, so far, what at all are the nation benefits? Oh, please, we need something better. And we want our children to be trained well and not to emulate, some European countries that will not benefit us. Countries that will benefit the country. So at the end of the day, we know our children went to school, they came back from school, this is what they are bringing. Now they go to school and they come home, things that we have taught them at home, they come and they do them different lifestyle altogether. There are some few people that their parents or their friends abroad, and they have to bring that country. Please, let us spare and allow discipline, well discipline to go in the school so that our children also will capture something better. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Really appreciate it. Well, again, you can call us. We'd love to hear from you. This is what democracy is all about. This is what we want in our society. We need to interrogate. The fact that it has existed for a very long time doesn't mean that it has to continue to exist. The fact that is our culture, if it's not serving us well, it does not mean it should continue to exist. We need to interrogate it. And the more we interrogate it, the more we offer ourselves an opportunity to, one, better understand why it exists, and two, to also look at how we can improve upon it. Because we cannot run away from the fundamental question that how does keeping a short or long hair make one morally upright? How does it make one disciplined? I mean, we've seen people with Sakura hair who have been arrested for very, very heinous crimes. Sakura hair, and they are doing wicked things. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, well, let's pick our final caller now. I understand we have a final caller. Hello? 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 Well, we understand he's dropped the line now. Well, pretty much that's what time will permit us on the What's on Your Mind segment. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. And the conversation is going to continue because it's not going to end now. The Education Minister has been very clear about his position on this. And he says, well, it is not going to come from him. Well, sorry, I understand we have a last caller. Hello?
Good morning, bro.
Yeah, good morning. Please, your last caller. What's your name again? Where are you joining us from?
My name is Bismarck from Apam.
Great. Apam, you said?
Yes.
Wow. You're calling from, I went to Apam SHS, so you can understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that the conversation, we need to separate it was
sorry, can you just position yourself well? Your line is really bad, but I want to...
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I said a couple of years ago, I think it was a Rasta guy who was going to senior high school, and it's on social media, people started talking about it. And then it was allowed. Now, a girl was going to... and then that it thing with it. What about when it? So I think that we need that would help you.
Unfortunately, your line is really bad. Not too sure why that is the case, but you're calling us from Apam. And or would have really loved to hear from you. Your line is really bad. But please, send us a message on WhatsApp. Drop a message on WhatsApp. Those of you who are trying to reach us and could not, leave us a message on WhatsApp and let's hear from you, all right? Let's hear from you on WhatsApp. We really love to get your thoughts on this one. Well, in store with me now is Akosua Frimpomaa Sapon Kuma. She is the chairperson of the Convention People's Party. She was the chairperson of the Convention People's Party, and in 2024 she was the Flagbearer. All right, so she's occupied, fair to say, two of the biggest positions in the Convention People's Party, led it as the chairperson, also led it as a flag bearer. I'm not too sure what 2028 holds, whether she will return on the ticket, but whatever be the case, we have her. She equally was a key member, in fact, a founding member of the 31st December Women's Movement, and she was a close ally to Nana Konadu-Agyeman-Rawlings. She is in a very good position to tell us more about her, to tell us what the vision was for women at the time and the lessons we can still learn from it as we look to build a more inclusive society. And talking about women, let's talk about hair with her. Good morning, Mom.
Wonderful to be here. And let me say hi to all your listeners and watchers across the world. This is it's a privilege to be here this morning.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. Really excited to have you. It's been a while. I think since after the elections, we haven't seen much of you.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
I've been there. You know, my party, if it was just one of those political parties, you'll be all over the place. In Convention People's Party, the structure is a little different. So you need to be a little cautious when you move. We are mobilizing ourselves to start with our grassroots because we know exactly what our problem is. It has nothing to do with what we represent. It has nothing to do with who we are. It has to do with the fact that we don't have the structures on the ground in terms of the people at the police stations and the youth. The youth upon which the whole country was built, the Osajifo and CPP originally, we were the party with the grassroots.
Yeah.
And the measure with the PNDC before when it became the NDC took our base. And since then, we've not been able to do that. So that is the main focus that we have now. And also, I've said a few things that has been mentioned and having come up. And today is one of those days that, in as much as we are here to talk about mother, I am so saddened by what is happening with some of the statements that I'm hearing coming from the Honorable Minister. It's unbelievable. I can't even believe it. In fact, if I was dreaming or sleeping somewhere, I would say, oh, okay, maybe some.
What's your concern with that?
About hair?
Yeah, the statement you made about the hair.
The hair and the vernacular. Unbelievable. Vernacular and hair at this point. I mean, for hair, in fact, you just see the face of that lady.
Yes.
We need to bring some psychologists into our educational system who understand life and how it impacts people, how confidence and loving yourself is able to let you live to your fullest potential. What is it that brings the best out in us? That God has already finished work for mankind. So it is for man to be able to live a life that really empowers all of us. But first, it starts by yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't love who you are, and you can only look pretty with buying like Brazilian hair, Indian hair, or something before you can be acceptable in society, we have a problem. You see these girls that are dancing. Yeah. The moment, the very hour they leave SS, they go buy Brazilian hair. If you meet 10 people today, 9 have some kind of hair on. That is the sad part for me as a mother and as a woman, and for me as a leader of a nation. When I was back in the US, I'd see the Chinese people, their hair, doesn't matter how their hair look, their face, they are still confident as people. When are we going to have that confidence as Africans? When are we going to realize that our hair, the braiding of her hair in school is part of life? That the girl, when she comes home and goes to work, would have to worry about her hair and how she goes to work with her hair. So learning how to maintain your hair in school and being part of going to school and learning and being able to braid your hair before classes, they are all parts of life. That the people who write the book that we study in school, they don't have to go through this. Why won't we come to the understanding that we have failed as the people, including him, the minister?
I think you're making a very profound point. So part of life is learning how to take care of your hair. And learning how to take care of your hair, they should be given the opportunity to learn how to take care of their hair At the secondary school level?
Precisely. When we were in school, I was in fast man. Initially, when we went there, I remember they said Form 1, you had to cut your hair, which for me didn't make sense. But from Form 2, you were allowed to braid your hair. You braided your hair from Form 2 onwards, because Form 1, they said you have come back from school and maybe so many things, which for me is so unnecessary. The child is going to a boarding school. From there, she gets into the university.
Yeah.
At the university, she's on her own. Right there, I have friends who had to buy long hair for their daughters. I had a friend who, when the child was in school, the moment she picks the child, listen to me, from the Wesley Girls or Holy Child, I've forgotten one of their schools, she would bring her straight to the salon to have her hair done, even while she was in SS. This is so, what is this for? It's just she's lost her confidence. She's not going to feel good about herself. She's being told that long hair is not good, yet when she watches film, she sees long hair and she likes long hair. So then immediately after that, she goes to put on long hair. She's a nurse, she's a teacher, she's working at the ministry. She has all this long, you see how they braided their hair long?
Yeah.
Now their hair is even getting longer than a human being. I have a girl in my house, I'm always angry when she goes to braid her. I say, why? This thing is going to fall.
They're making an argument about discipline and the need to...
It has nothing to do with
and the need to inculcate the principle of learning how to obey rules and regulations.
That's exactly the point I'm making. Can we come backwards a little and realize that what are rules and regulations for? So the rules that have been made there, that have to obey. The regulations that have been stated must be put in place. Is it supposed to make the woman become a better nurse, a better doctor? Is that not what you're looking for? A better teacher? A better civil servant that really makes work done. Well, if you're a contractor, you get a job. We have a system where you get paid. When you're in the US or any part of the world and you say you have a government contract, it is a sign of the cross. You are so happy because that means that life is good for you. If you get a government contract in Ghana here, you might die because, first of all, a strong part of the money is going to go back to giving bribes for the contract and paying for the money that you'll be paid for. And if you are not lucky, you end up like where he had a system supported people that had contract, who had government contract. And at the end of the day, government wouldn't pay him, and yet government was able to close his bank because he owed people. And yet, when you look at the debt and the ratio, you realize that government owed him more than he owed people. So, you see,
so you believe there's no correlation between keeping a longer, shorter, and discipline in our schools?
No. What I'm saying is that I think the problem is the adults of this country. We've lost it. And instead of us taking back and taking responsibility and going through a system to understand what is the point in going through school, where are the psychologists in this country? Where are the professors? When they come out with the reports, come out with what have they done in this world to show that if you have a long hair and that if you braid hair in school, you are not the best and that you can't do well. I'm saying that when we were in school, that's the Christine Churches how many people had any problem against Christine Churches as a minister? She was one of the best ministers. They were the people, when we were in school, they braided their hair. We braided our hair. So what are we saying?
Well, in your time, you had the freedom to braid your hair in your time.
That's my point. It was only in first year that they said because I just come to school and all that, so they cut your hair. That one, it didn't work. But from Form 2, your hair was braided. I learned how to braid cornrow for my daughters when they were young. I knew how to do cornrow, hair because I did it in school. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you can't do your hair in school, then naturally, when you are done, you have to put on that long hair. You have to put on a Brazilian hair to go to work.
But they also raise the concern that, yes, you talk about braiding hair, but in this system now, it's beyond braiding hair. You know, they do wash their hair, they do all kind of styles, and the minister says he wants uniformity. He doesn't want people come and today this one hair is this.
The minister, I'm sorry, doesn't even have. That's what I'm saying. What is the basis? That is rules and regulations. Wrong rules and wrong regulations. That's what I'm saying. The rules itself is faulty. The rules for the student is faulty. We don't have a direction. What is it that we want the young girl to come out of school for? Are we looking for working class people? We want an institution, or we want a population that's the working class works. You understand? We have a working class that's not working. And you want to know why? Just go to any hospital and see whether you get the kind of treatment that you need to get as a patient. Go to any school and go to any institution and see whether you would be able, that's government institution, and see whether you'll be able to get what you need as a citizen from that particular person sitting there. What we need to look at is a Ghana that works. We must leave this generation. We, the adults, must leave a working country for our people. And to have a working country, must have people that have systems that work. And to look at that, we must look at how we are bringing up our children. Why did we bring in the young pioneers? The young pioneers and all these institutions I had before Sajifo's time was to inculcate a certain thinking in the minds of people. Look at all the books of Sajifo wrote. He wants people, what did he say he wants to work? He wants discipline in the school. They should go back and bring Osajifo's books to the school so that people can understand who they are. As an African, you can understand how we've been colonized, how our minds and everything foreign is right for us. The moment we get there, maybe we begin to love ourselves.
I mean, talking about what you love to leave for the younger generation, that's something that you and Anakunede Agyemang-Rawlings spent a chunk of your time doing, inspiring young women, inspiring mothers all across the country. Let's get into that conversation. Share with us your experience with the former First Lady.
Let me first of all say, the entire family, I send them my sympathy, especially the children. My heart really goes to the kids. I don't know how they are going to continue life. It looks like they're strong, but it's very difficult. You just lost your father, you just lost your mother, especially in the midst of a lot of discussion.
Within the space of 5 years, we lost both parents.
Yes, not only that, it's not a regular mother or a regular father where people have pain towards them. You understand? There are lots of negativity as well as positive things. So I want to focus on the package Nana Kunedu as the woman of symbol of boldness, a woman of who goes the extra mile to make sure that whatever she's doing, she does it to the fullest.
How did you first encounter her?
For me, in 1979, I never really met her. It's the father, we just heard about the coup.
Okay.
I never really, my father has always been a politician. So my father was part of Nkrumah as well as, what do you call him? A champon. Okay. He was in charge of what they call the GNLC, the Ghana National Reconstruction Corps, to help get the youth off the streets. So after the 79 coup, they acknowledged that, and then we came back to the constitutional rule, and PNP won, which is still again CPP. Then there was a coup again. And my ex-husband was a diplomat, so he was out there, but he was a North now who had a certain group of young friends, Chris Atim, Zaya Yebo, Dr. Atams, a lot of the young people then, Kachapori and those people. During the 79, they used to come to the house. But I was a little older. I mean, I've always been a business person. I went into business very early. Okay. So then what happened is that during the 81 coup, after the 81 coup, he came down. He was then abroad at the mission, and he came down. I had just gotten ready to go visit. In fact, I'd gone to visit and come back. And he came down and came to help with Chris Atim then. They made him the secretary to the Economic Review Committee. And then also the chairperson to the Olympic Committee at that time. Whilst they were there, then I was forced to be here. And like I told you, I've been a business person. I can go to London and come the same day. For the flight, I'll go to London with the same flight I come back with. I never like outside. I've always loved staying here. I used to run a sewing industry, and then I had traveling back and forth. So at that point, when the revolution started, the way they were beating women, even including my aunties, okay, I really felt that was so cruel. So I asked, and since I couldn't go do my business, I asked a colleague friend of my ex-husband, I want to really form a movement or some grouping that can help these women they are beating. Because I feel like everybody is putting their frustration on women. My auntie that was beaten, when she came to buy her thing that the military used to beat her, They beat her because of the price control. I went with her to buy the goose. She couldn't have sold it for anything less than what she was selling in Kumasi. Are you getting my point? She just bought the things and sold it at a very small profit. Yes, she was beaten because she's the last point of contact with the customer. So then that is how I told the friend. She said, well, another group of people are also thinking the same. So she introduced me to a group called Sidwa. May she rest in peace. She just died last year. She was married to Chris Atim, Dr. Chris Atim. Okay. Lifua, who is Yafiedo's younger sister. Yawa Amoa, Mrs. Obinim, the Gertrude Zakaria. She was then a minister at that time. And then one other two people. And Cynthia Nyama. Cynthia Nyama, she was the secretary. I met with them. I was a little, not too old than them, but quite successful because I was a business person and married at that time. So I was like the one that was really leading them. Like I said, my money made the first T-shirts for 31st December Women's Movement. Yes. We gave ourselves positions at that time. I was the organizer. I was one of them was secretary, that kind of thing. And then we started working.
And it was called 31st December Women at the time. What was the name of that?
31st December Women's Movement took us about 8 hours. We were very young girls, always arguing, understand? For us to come up with that name. We took that name for only one reason. It had nothing to do with revolution. I was affected by the revolution. My party, and then also as a business person. So it had nothing to do with 31st. And I was very angry with 79 already when they killed a champion them. You understand? Because my father was part, again, of a champion's government. So it has nothing to do with the revolution. No support for that, just for women. And we picked that name because that name would give us, like the military would think that we are part of them. And then they wouldn't start molesting us, and then we have access because there was curfew and we wanted to go around to help. We used to go around the whole places, the marketplaces and everywhere to help women. If women got any problem, then we would go in there to support and help them. So it was to help women. In fact, the first group, when we launched the movement at the Burma camp, we started with the Burma camp military officers' wives. We made them go into farming because don't forget I'm coming from the background of Operation Feed Yourself with the shampoo. So they went and farmed there. That was how we opened the center. And I couldn't do it with Jima Rollins. She wasn't there.
At the time,
she didn't show up. No, we're expecting. It was the husband who came. Indeed, we went to the husband at Gonda Barracks, all of us, to go and tell him about the movement. But we didn't know him. I never met him before until that Gonda Barracks meeting. And that time, I told somebody, all he did was speak about the wife, how wonderful she was and how she's a wonderful woman, a good woman, she's everything. So Nana couldn't do Ajima Rollins. One of the reasons why I personally, even though some members of my group are not as happy as maybe as I am here in terms of, not happy, but we're a little concerned, especially when they wrote the book and never mentioned the founders. You understand? You know, in Ghana, we already have a problem with apostrophe S and S before.
Before and after the S.
After the S, you know. In our case, there's the founders and founders now. We are the founders and now there's a founder. But for me, I was just happy where she's taking the movement.
So at what point did she come in then?
We went into exile. You know, I told you about a small meeting. Chris Atim, Ayaga Katapori, these were like the Northern group in the revolution at that time. For some reason, there was a split. My ex-husband is Bawa Mahama. So he was also part of the Northern elites. Okay, so there was a split. And in that problem, they just arrested them. They arrested them and just put them in guard room. I went and sat on the neck, and myself, they entered my house, taekwondo their place, and took almost everything out. Then I went to sleep with Lifua and Ya Esedu because their father was head of something in Legon, forgotten, administration or something. And so they were living on campus. So we knew as for campus is the safest. So that night, I went to sleep with them. 2 a.m., Richard Ado and Co. We see some military things and some noise there. Say, then they come and taekwondo the door again, entered the place, and came to sit there at mid-dawn. Took Ya and took Lifua. They said, my name was Mrs. Bauer, Zaida Bauer. As so people don't know, it's the same person, but I'm Zaida Bauer. My ex-husband was then a Muslim. Okay. So I became a Muslim. And my father-in-law gave me the name Zaida.
Okay.
Z-A-I-D-A. So Zaida Baba. So the way I confronted Richard when I said, why are you doing this to us? We've only helping. We are not military people. We are only helping women. Why are you doing this? You've already arrested my husband. What are you doing here at this time? So when I got that aggressive, I can be very aggressive when I have to, but I'm not, but I can. So when I got that, then he said, you know, Mrs. Baba, you there, we have already picked your husband, so stay. So they took the girls away. So by 5:36, I was at the castle, and I went and they were with, what's his name, Chachu at that time.
And just help us appreciate, why were they trying?
Because there were problems amongst the female. I don't know what happened.
Okay, among okay. So they were chasing you because of your husband?
Pardon?
They were chasing you because of your husband?
That precise. And no, and because we were militant, like 31st December Women's Movement, seen us all over the place. We went to learn how to shoot. They thought we had guns, and that the men had given us guns.
So your movement at the time was being seen as a threat?
Yes. We were the leaders of the movement. So, and Yai Du was also dating Chris Atim. They actually got married. He just passed on. She rests in perfect peace. So then they came to pick us up, thinking that we had something, we are hiding, that we know something, that there's a coup coming, and we don't know anything about anything. We were just there. So at that point, when they released the following morning and everything, she got her way out of the country to Togo. Lifa found her way. My husband was in jail. I insisted. I stayed 10 days. He was released. Immediately he came back. He told my daddy that I had to leave. Whatever reason. So we all ended up in exile. So
you basically abandoned the movement and left.
That's the word Nana Kwendu used the first time. He said, "This is the lady who abandoned the fight." But we didn't abandon. We were in exile. We were chased.
Because your life was under threat.
We were chased out of the country for nothing. So the only person that I know who stayed with the movement was Cynthia Nyama. Okay? And she was the secretary at that time. When I came, I met with Nana Kunedu personally in her office when I came back in early 90. And I had to go and say hi because I had heard 31st. I knew she was doing so well. And I knew her before. She knows me. That we were the founders. So we went to meet her. For 3 hours or more, she told me about what had happened. And the story of Cynthia. Cynthia was supposedly committed suicide. Stabbed herself. Did not finish stabbing herself. Couldn't die with a stab. Then went to put water in the tub and the bath. And electrocuted herself in the bath. When you hear this story, would you want to come back? That was such a gruesome.
And Cynthia, we're talking about one of the founders.
Founders.
The first. Who stayed?
With the movement. You understand that?
That's how her life ended.
Yes. Everybody else, when I came, I couldn't find anyone. She was. That's how her life ended.
So when you came back, you were told that this is how her life ended.
Yes. You understand? So even at a funeral, they didn't even want 31st to come, but Cynthia was with 31st. In fact, Nana was very nice to Cynthia to the extent that where she used to live with her husband before where they moved to, she gave that property, that place to Cynthia. So she thought that's what Cynthia was when she was murdered. Committed suicide.
So let me just break it down for our viewers now. You and your other friends at the time started a movement.
Absolutely.
And while the movement was functioning, it was seen as a threat to the military rule at the time, because some of you were also affiliated with some political figures in the country at the time. Your husband was a key political figure. He was being, chased. All of them were being seen as threats to the military rule.
Yes.
And it also came down to your movement. And because your life was under threat, most of you also left the country. And Cynthia was the only one who was left.
Yes.
And she held on to it. And within that period also, the former First Lady also came to be part of the movement, and they carried out.
Yes. The former First Lady came in while Cynthia was there. I got that information from one lady, Mrs. Edith Hazel. She can, if you call her, she can give you the story. Because it was the famous First Lady told her about me. That's how she introduced us, that this is the founders of.
So when you came back, you stayed, or did you leave?
No, I stayed. I come in and off, but I stayed. But I didn't really. I went around with Edith Electum, Mrs. Hazel, to a lot of programs that she was going to, because I really liked her. I loved what they had done with the movement. They had taken it to the vision that we had. And yet, at that point, I also realized that it was become, people thought it was more of an NDC thing, which it wasn't. That was not it at all, telling you today. I wasn't NDC, and that was not it. So at that point, when people realized that there were a lot of negativity at that time, and I didn't know whether my friends had all gone, and I didn't know where to fit in. So I just formed my NGO called the Caring Kids International, just to support young people and the youth. So I focused on my NGO.
So just talk to us about some of the initiatives that when you came back, you saw being rolled out for women, because we really love that.
Absolutely. The one that makes me love Nana Konadu so much is the focus on daycare centers. You know, a lot of people were arguing that it was used for political achievement, and that it doesn't matter. If you're a mother, I've been a single mother all my life. I have 3 kids. And I know, like my son once said, I was on Obasima, that program they do, and they call my son in the US. He said, and so he got back to the US, he never even knew that his mother was a single. He didn't understand what it meant, a single parenting. He didn't know what it was.
Interesting.
Yes, because he didn't feel it, you understand? I didn't make my children feel like I was single. No. It's what they would think that you have a whole parenting behind you. So here's my point. When I came and went around with Edith at that time, a lot of daycare centers in the marketplaces and everywhere. Some people were arguing, some of these daycare centers are even under trees. I said under trees, you don't know what you're talking about. The mother who is going to, because our focus was on the everyday woman. And that everyday woman is the reason why me and you are here today, because they still use hoe and cutlass. The whole cutlass for me and you to eat. When they're going to do that hoe and cutlass business, they carry the baby. They leave that baby there and hold cutlass here. How many children do you know that have died as a result of having taken the wrong herb or something to swallow? You don't know, because there's no statistics or numbers in this country.
So these daycare
centers. At the time, I had over 900 and something daycare. I said, that is the woman. And when I met with her, she was always very, because at the time, I remember when I was here, every time I saw Yari hospital, she either has is it arthritis or something, the asthma and all these pain thing. Every time. Yet, she was able, in between small, took care, her husband gave us the best testimony when we went to go and just tell the husband about the movement. She spoke about the wife. So clearly, it means the wife had a very positive influence on him as a woman. So that for me itself is a mark there. Then she had her own children. My auntie told me they never saw Konadu and pregnancy around the place. She was able to section and separate that as a mother. And yet, she took that movement. It doesn't matter. She took it to a level that maybe I wouldn't have been able to do it with all my energy, because she was the first lady. And she had access and resources, you understand? But she could have used that access and resources for herself. But she decided to also use it to help other women through the movement. And she did it to the best of beyond her abilities.
Now, I want to show you something. You were talking about the daycare centers. One of them, we understand there are about 4 of them in Kumasi. At this moment, there's just one functioning. And maybe you might be interested in that daycare, and maybe sometime you might want to go and visit and support them. Guys, if that story is there, it's in our files. The daycare in Kumasi, one of my colleagues did a report on it. And there's still students in the school. There's still, young people in the school. It's a beautiful story when I saw it. And we're going to play it for you to watch and see. And we're just talking about the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. One of the things that she championed also has to do with the construction of daycare centers. And that's one thing that our mother is super excited about. And that's great. When the stand is ready now, let's listen. It's not in the best of shape, but it speaks to the kind of vision she had at the time. Let's listen. Let's watch it. Charlie, do you have sound here? that was built by the former First Lady. And if you can keep... So, I mean, you're just talking about it. It speaks volume of how passionate she was about women. And even after she left office, every time I've gone to watch a few of her recent interviews, and she was always passionate about women. Always passionate about women. Talk to me about that aspect also.
You know what I see here? What I see here is the shame and the shame of Ghana. The state that I'm pleading with the minister. They should go to these centers and go take them back. Honestly. I see this and I'm sad because that's what they did to CPP. All the factories were abandoned. And the ones people could take, they took. The one they couldn't take, they abandoned it. Not caring about the benefit to the people of this nation. Some of these properties, these were really daycare centers. There was some even on that trees, that's what I'm trying to say. Look at that daycare center there.
Yeah.
This should have become maybe a school with, even to the university level, if people had continued. The passion, there's a gentleman that called in, and if you listen to the story of that guy, and I'm sure that when you give a chance for people who benefited from the daycare centers to call and tell you, whether they will tell you whether the daycare center were not in an air-conditioned room or in whatever, whether they cared. They were concerned or happy about the fact that they could go to a place, for the mothers, that they could leave their child in a place for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3-4 hours, and know that somebody is taking care of that child. That relief is what for me, whatever else Nana Kunedu did, whatever else she did, we as a nation, all of us have failed. Let's take that and package her and be able to let other women and other young people cultivate that spirit, ignite it in us, and know that you can be the best. And you know one of the best in Nana Kunedu. Husband, the children, she brought the children up so that they would love, they wouldn't feel like they are privileged. That's what she told me. That she, or making sure send a man on. And I experienced it the last time I was with her. Her grandchild kept coming in. It's about a few months ago in her office. We were there for too long. And the daughter, the grandchild, I think, had to do the homework. Somebody was something. 1 minute, you know how they go. 1 minute she'll come, 1 minute she'll come. And she was just saying, yeah, go. I said, my man, and but yet also, they have to know that. Also, who say, I'm with the visitor, so that's not the time to come and tell me all the problems. You understand? And so I told her, hey, you are still continuing, you do very well. She had that. That is something we all have to learn. Then most importantly, when she believed that she was ready to become the president of this country, because she knew she had worked. The movement was set up so that every small area had a structure. So she knew that. She knew that her movement supported her husband's party. Yeah. So now it was time for a woman. When she didn't get the nod, she didn't say that, oh, because I'm a woman, like the way my parents told me, they forced me to travel. And she didn't do that. She just said, she will have to live with her dreams still. And she went out in spite of. We all saw what happened in this country. Yeah. She still formed a party. It might have been a conflict for her. I can believe what she was going through on a daily basis. Yes, the husband so dear to you. The husband, you could even see the husband who didn't know what it was about at that time. And I'm sure it was confusing for the children. Yeah. And sometimes I feel so much for the daughter because she too, it's not an easy arrangement. Yet this woman went through with it. And became the first lady on the ballot. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. She went with whatever her vision was. She did it. So, and what did she write on her poster? Be bold. Be bold. That's what I leave for women. Get out there. Today, the fight is no more about trying to take a man's position. We've gone past that. It's not about trying to become. It's that we still understand that we have our position. You're still the woman. You're still going to have the children. You're still going to have a husband. You're still going to be nice to that. You're still going to have to take care of the home. But you still must live a dream. Because without the women in leadership positions, Ghana will be where it is. We need to have women get into positions where decisions are made with a certain feminine touch, with a certain sensitivity, with a certain, just cut your hair, because it doesn't make, I'm sorry, I don't want, because I like that minister so much. It's one of my favorite ministers, and I really had a lot of confidence in this one. They were, well, he should come back and apologize. I don't even know where he's going with this catch-up. But because of such things that has nothing to do with society's growth, has nothing to do with the development of the people. In fact, it's retrogressive. It takes us back. Okay? It doesn't make us become the best we can be. And you know, when you can't be the best you can be, when you don't have confidence, when you don't have the African personality, that's what Osajifo was talking about. Why did you say that all those schools? Why were there in our schools young pioneers? Do you know the young pioneers? People thought the young pioneers was to make Osajifo a god. No, it was to teach us about basic principles, discipline, moral, patriotism, love for nation, love for people, love for yourself, love for your neighbor. That was what it was all about. You can listen to the creed and everything that was taught. Go to the school or the books that were taught at the Winneba Institute or whatever, and you realize that it is just for you to know that God created you in His image and that you as an African, you are capable and that you are complete.
But would you say, it might be a stretch, but will you say to some extent the life that Nana Akosua Rawlings lived, to some extent, she embodied the Kwame Nkrumah traits?
Absolutely. Everything from it. In fact, when I read her book, the narration, then when she spoke about how when she was on campus, in Achimota, that after the coup, she actually saw the ambassador at that time take all the books. Everything had to do with Osajifo, CP, and burnt it. Remember, it's there somewhere. You can only say that when you can relate to it in a certain way. Osajifo's vision for Ghana is not something that was special. It was just so that we give people opportunity to become the best they can be. That's how come he was able to start the free education from the north. My grandmother, who was then a social worker under Osajifo, that's how my father became a politician, were the people who went to the north, take clothes there, go and take, when they see you, they put clothes on you in the north. You understand? He realized that there was the economic disadvantage at that time to the northness, and they had to come to the south to be able to find jobs. It can sometimes dehumanize you. It can make you not bring the best in you. So you needed to get back, give education, and development there, because we are all the same and equal people. He didn't differentiate. He didn't
and as you are narrating all of this, you see that similarities in what Nana Akosua was doing. All because one of our leaders here, the head of department here, apparently he tells the story and tells that he was a beneficiary of one of the daycare centers that was established by Akosua Rawlings in the north. And he wrote a long piece, remembering that moment and all of that. But I just want to pick this your thought, then we can take a few messages and wrap it up. I mean, today, if Ghana want to remember Nana Akosua Rawlings, of course, it's going to be a state funeral. But beyond that, if you want to properly remember her, properly honor her memory, what do you think the country ought to do?
Some people are even arguing that she shouldn't be given a state burial. She shouldn't be given this. I don't know who qualifies for a state burial. Okay. And for me, it also shows clearly the marginalization of women's efforts. What Nana Akosua did, if you ask me, she did more than her husband. I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's a bold statement.
Oh yes. Because when we put emphasis on buildings and forget the people that build the buildings. I understand? When the emphasis go onto human development, onto the human beings, you have everything. Because everything is from ideas. Everything starts with an idea and a thought. And the belief that you can do something. He says, for those that believe they can, they are right. And those who believe they can, they're also right. Because it is when you believe that you can, that you get up to do something. When you think you can't, you don't. So belief is everything. So when you have a woman who's at the sacrifices everything, and goes from village to village to village to village to village, whatever her motive is, let's put the motive there, because today the motive of the politician is to buy and make sure that they have riches for their 10th generation. So let's not go to motives, okay? Let's see what's the person achieved. And he was able to help women. Not only just help them with the daycare, but also support them with a lot of jobs, factories and gari processing, this processing. That's what the movement was about, to empower women so that they can find something to do economically, empower them. Because if women are not empowered economically, no matter theory, everything else you say will just be a theory. Let a woman be able to do that. And again, if you look at the part that she walked, look at what they did with the PNDC law 111, the interstate law. Yeah. They was able to make it so that if I know a family, in fact, my one very close person, who, when the father died, the mother had 9 children, they were sent out of their house. He always had that story to say where they grew up. You understand? Out of that law, we might think it's nothing, but it gave a certain sense of continuity. You were going through pain, but at least you could still stay with your children in an environment. That is so important. So for me, what we should do is that for every human being listening to my voice, and for every person, no matter where you are in life, you once upon a time was a baby, and the mother carried you, and that mother had issues. When after you've given birth, you know that you need someone to support you. You need to work to support your child. It's not everybody who has a husband that helps them. Even some people, when the husband can't afford, they still want to work because the two helps better than just one income. So that's a woman putting her life and everything to do what she did in every corner of this country. I'm sorry. If they had not over-politicized 31st, even if they had looked at the fact that even if 31st supported NDC, it still was a good project. Let's continue with it. We won't be where we are today. 31st will still have been there big. But we all know what happened. There was a lot of energy to ensure that Nana Konadu did not continue with 31st.
She would build a statue for her or something?
Pardon?
She would build a statue for
beyond
her.
the statue. Nana Konadu should be immortalized. That's how, I mean, whether we like it or not, she will. Okay, for some of us, she will forever be in our hearts as one. And for all the young people whose life has been affected, she will be. Yes, we must build beyond the statue for Nana Konadu. Nana Konadu is on the same level, if not even higher, than the Yaa Asantewaa. Okay, Yaa Asantewaa did well, but she just did something for the Ashanti Kingdom. Nana Konadu did it for Ghana. And for every woman, and for everybody who wants to be somebody, whether it's a man, because a woman, you are a man, you are still coming through a woman. So Nana Konadu was to empower women, not to say that you see, she didn't come to say that women should take the position of men. She did not take the position of a husband. I'm telling you, the husband still was with her, even when she was, I would say, rebellious. You understand? So clearly she knows how to do her work well and what to do right. So it is for the women, we the people of this nation, let's stop looking at negativity. Let's stop vilifying people. Let's stop saying only nobody is perfect. That current today, the policies of today clearly shows that the people, we all need an overhaul and a reset. And in the reset, let's look at the people who have gone beyond the call of duty, who went that extra mile, so that we can take that and give it back to the next generation.
Interesting.
Nana Konadu has done the best for the nation.
Interesting. Well, let's just take a few messages. I'm sure we have quite a number of messages on the subject relating to the hair thing. This one says, the education minister has failed to meet our expectations, and I strongly believe that addressing the issue of long hair in senior high schools is not a priority. Instead, the minister should focus on improving the welfare of teachers and ensuring that schools have access to necessary facilities and learning materials. Did I hear correctly that Ghana is likely to face high economic risks under Mahama's leadership? And it goes on to talk about Galamsey and other issues. But it seems to agree with our mother here also that there are more pressing issues in the education sector, not the length of hair of our sisters. This one says, good morning. The minister call, in my view, is that the secondary schools should stay with the code of conduct in the school. And to me, it's a good call. I think that if there's any resetting in this country, it should be our secondary schools. Why do we even have to categorize the school by naming them category A, B, and C, and the rest? These are government schools, and people should understand that. To Ras Mubarak, If leaving long hair is too good, why did he cut off the rasta, he says. Interesting. This one says, the reason we can't develop in Ghana is so-called rights copied from outside, which we don't understand. The fact that some students still misbehave doesn't mean the rules are useless. It means that we need better enforcement and stronger guidance from teachers and parents. You don't have to remove traffic laws just because some drivers still break them. You improve how they are applied. He goes on to say, so that is the what do you call it? The message from a few. Okay, so basically those are all the messages there. Now we have to wrap up now, but let's hear from our mother what she has plans, any projects, any initiatives coming up. Then we wrap it up. Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can get the old founders to come and resurrect the 31st December Women's Movement. Because the vision for which we started and for what Nana Kunedu did, that's what we just saw in Kumasi should not continue. I strongly believe for all the women out there, we have a mother that actually, whether you like her or not, did the best for this nation. She did the best for the women, and I think we should continue that path. Let's remember that we should get young girls to believe in themselves, to love themselves. And to love yourself, your physique is also important. If it wasn't important, I think the minister, let me give one last thing to the minister. Can the minister do a favor for me? Can he go to cabinet and let the president and the committee, the cabinet, decide that no woman in Ghana should put on a long hair at work? See all the long hair. They should cut it. They should abandon it. They should make it unlawful. Then I would love them because we'll be forced to use our hair. And when we are or cover it like this African way, when we are forced to use our hair, then we'll come to realize that the girl there must learn to braid her hair. And braiding is part of life. Lifestyle. Your everyday, when you wake up, planning and organizing your life, it's all part of learning.
And you need to be given opportunity to learn that.
Yes, and the fact that the girl will immediately after school continue the lifestyle of having to braid her hair or keep her hair. Now they all want it natural. They should not cut the hair. They should let their children grow with confidence. The confidence is what you need. That is the number one discipline for people. It has nothing to do with, and the code of ethics, as somebody said, it is important that school keep the code of ethics. All of us want discipline. But let's make sure that we are not giving rules and regulations that are not necessarily empowering young people to become the best they can be. We should review the code and ethics of the school. It is not written in anything. It's not from God. It's from man. And man must use it so that it empowers the people. So on this note, let me say to the convention and the NDC that they should please not forget these children. I know there are issues. They should keep them but for them, there would have been no NDC. The father, there would have been no NDC. And again, I want to say, Cecilia Johnson, who also was the deputy to Nana Kunedu after we left on 31st, with the 31st December Women's Movement, has also passed. And I want to also extend sympathy to the family. I know the funeral is just around the corner. And so on this note, I personally want to say...
Have you been to the house yet, or you're yet to go there?
I'm trying to organize to go with CPP. So I think we are going to go today or tomorrow.
Okay, all right.